Welcome back. Welcome back. If you guys are here, it's officially TOT Star Wars Theory number 1. We got a big one today. It's kind of been going around, but we're going to get right into it. We think that Anakin is now the father, and Finn's going to go into some more in depth so you guys can.
Yeah, just so we're all on the same page about what the father is. Obviously, he is the living force, as we saw in Clone Wars on Mortis, the planet. He has the daughter, who's the embodiment of the light side. He has the son, who's the embodiment of the dark side. His job is to keep them in balance. So he brought them to a faraway planet called Mortis. The only way that our heroes were ever even able to find it in the first place was a fake Jedi code that the father transmitted to draw Anakin because he heard there was a chosen one. I remember in the episode there was a certain test, but he had to save either Ahsoka or Obi-Wan. He saved them both. The daughter dies. Ahsoka takes her life force, becomes the light side herself, and the father dies, and we don't know what happens. So our theory at TOT is that Anakin is the father, just like Mortis wanted him to be. If you remember in the episode, that was the main intent of him coming. He said, I need you to stay and take my place. Anakin said no. We think after his death, in the living realm, World of Worlds, ET, whatever you want to call it, the father reached back out to him, and Anakin finally accepted that duty. So, Matt, you want to do a little backup evidence for that to start, and then we'll get into it?
Yeah, so I think this last episode of Ahsoka, episode 5, really goes into, kind of gives subtle cues of why this theory is now, legitimate, and we can, kind of prove it. The first one is obviously that Anakin has lived throughout his life, both on the light and the dark, one keeping balance between the two. And then we saw it throughout the episode at the end of the duel with Ahsoka, once they came back from all the flashbacks and everything like that. He was in
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he was in Sith mode, and he had his Sith eyes and everything, and Ahsoka was saying, I choose to live. And then he went, closed his eyes, and controlled himself and brought himself back to the light, kind of being that balance that the father wanted him to be originally. So that was the first kind of.
He's never been able to do that. That has been Anakin's downfall. His emotions affect his actions. He's always trying to save the people he loves, and he never can. That's the endless trope. That's the point of the character. But now the character's moving into a different space after the original trilogy, after the prequels. We're in this new era, and he was effortlessly able to bounce back and forth between the light and the dark side with full control of his power. You could tell he was holding back fighting Ahsoka. He wasn't trying to kill her. He was just testing her. If he wanted to kill her, he would have snapped his fingers and killed her. He wasn't ready in the Clone Wars. He had to go through what he went through, caused so much destruction, death, and sadness, to be brought by his son back to the light, to see both sides. And then after the Battle of Endor type shit, he is now the father.
Yeah. And the second point that it's a little bit more kind of out there, but in one of the scenes with Ahsoka, I believe it was on Ryloth, Ahsoka, she was saying to Anakin how she wanted to be more than just a warrior and a fighter. And Anakin said, I want you to be more than that because I am more than that. And then the goal shows, and that's something that people normally brush off. But what is he more than? Is he more than himself now? Is he the father? That was kind of our connection to it.
Now, what we saw in the World Between Worlds was Anakin. There was a lot of debate via the internet or TOT that it was the son, that it was a force projection, that it was some kind of force ghost. That was Anakin, 100%. He has never, like I said, shown that control. He's never even had the ability to show that control. And he was trying to implement it into Ahsoka. Now, we clearly know Ahsoka is the light via Morai, right? The bird that follows her around. We actually haven't seen Morai in the series yet, which is interesting. You'd think it'd be posted up all around as a little Easter egg,
Yeah.
But we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we saw her in the World Between Worlds. Maybe she comes back whenever Ahsoka's kind of in trouble kind of thing, because she was in the World Between Worlds with Ezra, and she was sitting on top of the portal, all that kind of stuff. So I guess maybe we would have seen her in one of her fights throughout the episode, or maybe after she came back out of the water and got purified and everything like that. But yeah, and then
I loved. Wait, real quick before we move. Well, right while you're on the water, I love the symbolism of baptism and emerging from the living waters, almost like Mandalore, as Ahsoka the White, as the full embodiment of the light side. Sure, she was in the past, but there was so much conflict in her and there was so much weight on her that didn't allow her to fully embrace that. And I think the final teachings from Anakin, from the father, that was him cementing, I'm the father, you're the daughter.
Yeah,
We just got
that's
to
where I was
figure
gonna
out
go.
what's up with the son.
Yeah, so that I think Filoni's kind of setting something up to where we see that Anakin is the father, we have Ahsoka as the daughter. Now we're kind of wondering who's the son. We don't really have a theory on that yet, but as more information and stuff comes out, we will.
Palps, Sheaf Palps.
No, I think it's got to be something different. But I think just based on everything that we've seen throughout the Ahsoka show, throughout the Clone Wars, all that kind of stuff, it just makes sense that Ahsoka would be the light side because obviously she is already, but Anakin teaching her again, yes, it's the master apprentice relationship, but it's also kind of like a shadowy figure teaching her and bringing back that light energy and like making her purified again, kind of like Fitton was going with the baptism stuff.
Lastly, I want to make known one main reason TOT thinks that Anakin is the father. He was able to effortlessly enter and exit the world between worlds. Palpatine could not do that. Palpatine was trying immensely to do that via the fucking smoke cauldron thing, the blue thing. And he was able to impact the world between worlds. He gave Ezra that vision, like whatever. But he himself was never able to step in and walk. Anakin's just popping in and out. He's like, as soon as she turns around, he's gone. As soon as she turns around, he's there. So that is a big part of it too.
Yeah, also, you can't just kind of put yourself in these situations if you're Anakin. Like, you can't, like, Ahsoka's being brought back to when she's 14 years old in the Battle of Ryloth in, like, one of their first battles. Anakin can't just, like, appear there as himself, but also, the father.
Same with Mandalore. He wasn't on Mandalore.
No, exactly.
At the moment she was on Mandalore, he was beheading Count Dooku.
Yeah, like, that kind of stuff is what we really need to think about, and that's why we think this theory is correct. And obviously it's a theory, so there's no correct or incorrect answer, but we're waiting to see. If you guys have any comments or any ideas on who you think Anakin is, or it was just Anakin or Ahsoka seeing things.
Anakin.
But
now I've read, this is the last thing I'll leave them with, and again, like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think in the comments. We're down to debate, we're down to learn ourselves. The father impregnated Shmi Skywalker with Anakin. It was the Immaculate Conception. The father did that because he was getting old and someone needed to take his place. I rest my case.
Yeah, and I think Filoni's setting up for something big, and we're here for it. Filoni is officially the guy that's going to save Star Wars. If it wasn't known already, it's definitely known now. But
me, Matt, and Dave, hold it down.
Yep. If you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.